Hey, how you doing? Welcome all y'all. Welcome back to motherfucking Pnoid News. So over here today, I was hanging out, looking at YouTube or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Watching my kids play, and I come across a Joe Budden podcast, a little cut. It's like 11 minutes long, called "Should America Ban Billionaires?" And it brings up a kind of really good discussion that needs to be had. And it also brings up a lot of false economic paradigms that shouldn't really be there. So we're going to sit here and we're going to listen to this a little bit. We're going to get into it. We're going to break down some of the stuff of what they said. And we're going to have a conversation throughout about what the reality is, you know what I'm saying? Because like there's just so much garbage economics out here right now, because like legit the things that they're talking about is talking about money as if it's a zero sum game, like as if new wealth cannot be created while old wealth is still there, like you have to steal it from somebody else. And that's just a false paradigm, which was, done away with the wealth of nations, I thought. But apparently, it was not. So let's get into it. Let's see what's going on.
I saw something, an idea floating around online, and I wanted to ask you gentlemen about it. The idea was, should America do away with
Yes.
Well, let's hear it first, because America tries to do away with a lot of shit.
and there you have it. Should we do away with the concept of a billionaire?
Yeah, I think so.
No. What do you mean?
Rory said no. Just before we get into this, I'm going to get where everybody stands. Rory says no. Park says what?
Yes.
Yes. And you said, what do you mean? Got it.
Yeah, we do away with the idea of a
I'll give it to you. This says, if you earn $50 million in your lifetime, you would consider yourself rich, but you would still be $950 million away from being a billionaire. Mm-hmm. A billion is such an incomprehensible large sum of money that it'd be difficult to actually spend. That's what we mean by hoarding wealth. The argument here is that billionaires are hoarding wealth from other people who may be in need.
They are.
There's absolutely no reason why anyone should hoard more wealth than they could spend in their lifetime while others are homeless, starving, and dying of curable diseases. The world's top 26 billionaires own as much wealth as the poorest 3.8 billion people. Billionaires got $565 billion richer during the pandemic, making $42 billion a week on average.
Okay, so let's start with this right here, because this is important, right? To understand, a lot of people don't understand how billionaires make money, all right? Because when you talk about billionaires, first off, there's nobody in America who actually makes $1 billion a year. Legit. There's no one in this country who actually makes $1 billion a year. Just doesn't happen. Check your tax receipts. You'll see nobody actually makes $1 billion a year. You go, oh, they move offshore, they do the tax dodges, all this bullshit. You can say that if you want to, but the truth of the matter is that all these billions of dollars that these individuals talk about, all right, like for instance, you talk about Bill Gates, you talk about Jeff Bezos. If you ask Bill Gates to come up with $80 billion that he's supposedly worth, he'd come up very, very short. Because what he would have to do is he'd have to sell off stocks, and he'd have to sell off bonds, and he'd have to sell off things that the moment he started to sell his position in, these things would become exponentially less valuable as he sold them. So he might start off selling something for $1,000 a share, and by the time he's done, it's going to be worth 50, and it would destroy a company. And this is the other half of this as well, right? Is that you go to, billionaires made an extra $548 billion. Okay, so here's how this works. And I'm not caping. This is not what the hell this bullshit is, because that's what they're going to call it later, is caping for billionaires. The truth is that rich people have things, all right? They have real estate, they have stocks, they have bonds, all right? And when you have these things that are real, which are based on real things, when you print money to take care of poor people or to bail shit out, you end up having these things become more valuable because it costs more dollars to buy it, because dollar does not equal money. Dollar is a currency. It's a note. If you pull out any dollar that you have, it says Federal Reserve note on it. And that's important to understand when it comes down to it. Because if you don't understand that a dollar, all right, legitimately is not money, then you're not understanding basic economic principles. Okay? So, for instance, I made my value in the market went up 4 times during the pandemic. All right? I made 400% on my fucking individual shit. And how did I do this? Because I bought things on the market that were going to go up, or I bet on things going down. And that's how you make money. All right? It's how you basically, what you're doing is it's a play on the currency itself. Because it's not money. Money is silver. Money is gold. Money is, at one point it was tobacco. Money at one point was wheat. Money at one point was beer. All right. It was something that individuals will take as a universal good for their services or for trade. All right. And whether or not they're trade, like for instance, say you have 4 pies and I have, and I want those 4 pies. If I can give you, you know what I'm saying, like a piece of gold or a piece of silver to buy those 4 pies, and you'll accept that. And then you really don't need the gold. You're going to take it and, buy something else with it. That is money. Okay. Currency is a different situation. Currency is just because it's a piece of paper that's supposed to represent something that's actual money. We don't even have that anymore. Ours is just fiat, which means that the government will take it. All right. The government will only be paid in that money, which means that you have to earn a paycheck in that money in order to pay the taxes on that paycheck with that money. That's why we have to use dollars. That's what it is. Like, fiat currencies, which is what we have. Fiat means by decree of the king. I wanted to put that out there. Let's keep going on this video.
In 2019, the number of billionaires grew by 8.5% to 2,825 people, an all-time high. The combined wealth of the world's billionaires reached $9.4 trillion. Should I go on for you, or you kind of get the gist of what they're trying to say?
I get the gist. So they're saying that they should be forced to spend that money and help?
No, they should actually just be taxed, in my opinion.
What they're saying and here it is.
But they're not currently.
It would cost $20 billion to end homelessness in the U.S.
Okay, let's start with this statement, because I thought this was retarded when I first heard him say it. All right, it would cost $20 billion to end homelessness in the United States. For how long? Legit, for how long? Let's say there's 10 million homeless individuals in the United States, all right? And a lot of them are not homeless because of the fact that, they fell on hard times. They're homeless because they're handicapped. They're mentally challenged, They have mental deficiencies. They have psychiatric problems. They have drug addictions, which are caused by psychiatric problems. And they require inpatient doctor fucking care. Okay, but we closed all of what we used to call the asylums back in the day because of those movies that were made about people experimenting on them. And it did happen in like the 1950s, 1960s, something along those type of lines. But the truth is, it was never on the level of where they were saying what they were saying. And so we closed down all the asylums because we thought we were treating them badly, and now they're all fucking homeless. So how much would it cost to keep them inpatient cared, medicated, taken care of, bathed, washed, clean, clothed, fucking beds, the whole 9? How much would all that cost every year? I bet you the program at minimum would be $10 billion just for that. And then you got the vets on the street with PTSD, individuals with massive drug problems, things of this nature, individuals you actually have to build houses for, financial literacy courses, again, food, water, clothes, all the things that goes with that, right? There's a lot that it would take to be able to food, clothes, and house 10 million individuals. That's the truth. All right. And it's more than $20 billion to end homelessness. We need to stop quoting these numbers because they are way too low. All right. Let's keep going.
Mike Bloomberg could do that tomorrow and still have $28 billion to his name. Halting global warming would cost $300 billion. The world's 10 richest people could each throw in $30 billion and still have $386 billion amongst themselves.
Okay, so let's get into this one here. 300 billion to halt global warming. Okay. all right. Let's talk about this. See, the issue is that the vast majority of what you're saying right now is spouted by some stupid individual that doesn't understand how physics work. All right? Like the amount of money that it costs to build like one nuclear power plant is unfucking godly. All right, you're talking shit to build one power plant. I bet last time I checked, I think it was like 3 or 4 billion per power plant just to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Just to replace all the shit that runs on natural gas or all the shit that runs on petrochemicals or coal or anything of this nature, because you're not going to do it in most of the Europe, most of the United States, Canada, Russia, China, all of these places, because solar panels aren't that effective. And the wind nonsense isn't really good at all in any way, shape, or form. And to be a fact, most of this stuff actually does more ecological damage, you know what I mean, than, like actual oil does. So we can have that conversation, you know what I mean, legit, but your numbers are completely fucked, right? The Green New Deal just in the United States was going to cost $100 trillion, right? Trillion, not $1 trillion. All right. So like, you need to stop saying these words, because I don't think you know what they mean.
My only issue with this is I was raised not to count other people's pockets.
I mean,
that's my only.
Yo, me too. You know what I'm saying? I was raised not to be jealous of individuals and count their goddamn pockets. I'm behind your ideology 100%. I don't get jealous of other people. And that's a lot of what this is. It's just raw jealousy.
Thing.
No,
I was raised not to count nobody money.
Part.
You don't know what they did to get their money. You don't know how hard they worked for their money. You just don't know shit.
They should be held to a standard of they have to help in those areas.
They continue. Let me just close out their point in summation, and y'all can react to this.
Sure.
Many of us are only one really bad year, one medical issue, one lost job from complete financial ruin. Absolutely none of us are one really good year away from becoming billionaires. They don't care about us. Don't cape for them. Don't claim them. Don't defend the indefensible. Mm-hmm. The end.
All right. See, this is communist nonsense. All right. And don't cape them. Don't claim. No, shut the fuck up. Jesus goddamn Christ. What a bunch of whiny little bullshit nonsense. Look, the vast majority of what these fucking communist college people and these leftists say is fucking nonsense. It is indefensible to be a billionaire when everybody is starving. Like, no, what's indefensible, and this is where we really need to start getting into these conversations, is, all right, so automation's coming. All right, everybody knows automation's coming. All right, it's going to kill off a lot of jobs. And it's been happening already. And the jobs that get replaced are not as good as the original ones. All right. And these type of jobs can usually be exported anywhere in the world, or they'll bring individuals in to compete for your jobs, right? To keep up population growth so that they can continue to have more tax base to pay for social services that they need, because they have too many fucking people and everybody's on the goddamn welfare doles, which I would like to see end. All right. I would like to see companies legitimately be forced to pay a real fucking wage instead of continuing to have the government prop up these fucking companies through the use of fucking welfare. If like 90% of your company is on goddamn welfare, legit, that's part of your wage structure at that point. And we need to have a conversation, because you need to raise your goddamn prices. All right. I don't give a fuck. Legit. I don't care if you stay in business or not. All right. Nobody should have the majority of the people working for them being on fucking welfare. Because if you take away the welfare and you have to pay these people a decent wage, prices have to go up. This is the government fucking things up, as it always does. This is what this is. All right. This is the government standing here fucking things up and propping up a broken goddamn system. Because they don't want prices to go up, because they don't want to see how much money they've been printing to pay for shit that they don't have the fucking money for. Legit. It's that simple. All right. And it has nothing to do with we're not taxing billionaires. Though the rich are the only ones who actually pay any goddamn taxes. The top like 30% of earners in America pay all the taxes. The bottom 70% don't pay any. And I'm part of the top 30%. And I make 75 grand a fucking year. That's how this works. So, with that being said, you know what I'm saying? We need to have a conversation about what do you do when all the jobs are fucking lost or all the jobs are low wage garbage, right? Like Uber delivery guys and things of this nature, which is the problem we had with Obama. Even Peter Schiff like shouted it out at the top of his lungs. So did Gerald Celente. Everybody else did. All these jobs that were created under Obama and Trump have not been good jobs. They're not family sustaining factory fucking union jobs. They took those jobs and they fucking gave them the goddamn Mexicans. All right. That's what they did. Legit. They took these fucking Central Americans and individuals from south of the border who don't speak English and aren't immigrant and aren't citizens, and they fucking employ them because they can't unionize in America. All right. And then they take the indigenous population, the Americans and the blacks and, you know, whoever, Puerto Ricans and all those individuals, and they push us out the fucking door and cause us to be impoverished. That's what fucking just happened. Legit. In the past 30 years, this is what the fuck happened. And people have no idea about it. And it's not the Mexicans' fault. It's really not. All right. It has nothing to do with them. They're doing, you know what I'm saying, what they can for their families. The problem is, number one, the government allowing this, because what they do is they feed ICE bust every few fucking months, and then ICE comes through and cleans up a few of them, looks good in the fucking news, right? And, you know what I mean, fucking politicians get reelected, and then the companies continue to have more low-wage goddamn workers and shit. This is how this operates. So let's keep going a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Oh, wait. Yeah. So what do we do about these low wages? Do we tax the dog shit out of the companies? Like, to pay for workers for a UBI? What do you do? Do you have people own the machinery? What exactly is it that the citizens are going to do? What happens with families? What happens with people who have kids? And you're on UBI. You keep getting paid per kid? Seems like a bad idea. Like, none of this is sustainable. We need to have this conversation legitimately and soon. And I know this is America. We're going to fucking do the right thing after, you know what I'm saying, every other fucking option is exhausted. But maybe, you know what I'm saying, maybe we should at least start to have this conversation. I think that's what this is.
You gentlemen's thoughts on this are?
They should definitely be held to a standard that they have to help with the world problem.
They should at least. The issue is that they should at least be held to the standard that they have to pay the same tax rate as the man that makes $30,000 a year, and they're not.
Absolutely.
Which is
I completely
absurd.
agree there. Yeah.
And a lot of them make billions of dollars while their employees are making less than a living wage, which is also fucked up. Like, they're basically stealing wage wealth from their employees to become billionaires.
Yeah.
So what was your original question was?
Should we do away with the concept of billionaires?
So why say no?
Not allow anyone to become a billionaire in this country.
I can't say that.
No,
I just think
I
that
would
they
never
should
say
be
that.
taxed.
They should, yeah, I agree with that.
And
That's
why
the
I say
same
no
shit.
to that is
Well,
It's the same
yes
shit.
and no. Yes and no. I mean, if they make a $1 billion while still being
Charitable?
not necessarily charitable,
Philanthropic?
but being fair, you know what I'm saying?
But then you're asking the country to be fair, which it's not. So we're that's not on the billionaires.
I am asking the country to be fair, and it's not.
Yeah, I'm with them.
I think it would be
America's
okay.
America's a business. It's not a country. This is a business.
We say it all the time.
So if you're making however billions of dollars, and you know the homeless rate in California,
if I'm Jeff Bezos, I should be responsible for ending homelessness.
No, but you should.
I thought of an idea. I thought of an idea.
You should be creating a way to kind of help with that situation, though. Like you should definitely be doing something to help with the homeless problem.
Okay.
Absolutely.
and to the idea of getting rid of the idea of a billionaire, Jeff Bezos in particular, he is a billionaire because he offers a service that everyone uses. Mm-hmm. He's part of people's lives. Like what he chooses to do with that money, of course, is at this point his choice. But yeah, people are making it's a service. He's a billionaire because of that. He didn't just get the money out of thin air.
Right. If you live in this country, you have that much money.
We made him a billionaire.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, that's a little odd to tell somebody that is offering a service to not take the money that we're paying him for the service.
You're rebutting what they're saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But if you're a billionaire,
Yo, it's amazing. Legit, it's amazing. Like, everybody's like, yeah, fuck billionaires until you go, wait a minute, that don't make no goddamn sense. Like, yo, and it really is. Like, because, you know what I mean? Like, money is not a zero sum. The economy is not a zero sum game. It's not. You know what I mean? Wealth is created. It's not fucking eliminated. That's not how wealth works. It's not like a certain number of fucking dollars in the goddamn world. You know what I mean? You can only separate it a certain amount of fucking ways. Like anybody can go and make money. You just have to be able to have a service or have the ability to do so. You have to be smart enough to be able to go out and get that fucking money. And our way of doing this, right? Our way of showing your value and your worth and our appreciation for you contributing to our society is us paying you exponentially for the amount of fucking value you provide, right? So if you're worth $1 billion and your idea is worth $1 billion, you're going to get $1 billion fucking dollars. That's how this system works, right? It's a meritocracy. And that's what it's supposed to be. And you shouldn't eliminate that when it comes down to it.
Well, I'm not rebutting them because I agree with Parks completely. They should be taxed
But
the
Parks,
same way
all
somebody...
Parks is saying is the laws should be equal. So there's nothing to argue about there.
No, Jeff Bezos
They
should be taxed the exact
properly.
same way. And I think that tax money, specifically from billionaires, can go into different programs like global warming, like homelessness, all these other things. They should just be taxed at that exact rate.
Let's not attack what Parks is saying because that should be agreed upon.
I'm agreeing with Parks.
What Maul is saying is more so that if you acquire $1 billion in this country, that you should be required
absolutely
to
help the issues of the country.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Not mad at that.
Because like right now, California, the richest state in the U.S., if they became a country today, I think California would be the 7th richest country in the world. If California was just to become a country today. If you ever go on Skid Row in L.A., it's crazy that all of these homeless people live there, and it's the richest state in the country. It's like it doesn't even make sense. So that's what I'm saying. It's like if you live in California, you have $20 billion.
Well, you also have to remember, you know what I mean, legit, that all those people moved to California because it's gorgeous outside and they want to live in California, right? They're living in the richest area in the fucking world, right? With no plan to make any goddamn money. That's another issue, right? If you show up somewhere and just start sleeping there because it's nice outside and you never have to worry about getting fucking snowed on, which is why all those people are living in Skid Row. You don't have that massive amount of homelessness in Boston. You don't have that in Detroit. You don't have that in Minneapolis. And the reason that you don't, right, in the winter, especially in the winter times, because it gets fucking cold, all right? Like cold enough that you will die if you sleep outside. So like they moved to California where it never gets cold and then they can live outside in the street all they want to. This is a bit of an issue, you know what I mean? Because like where it's warm outside, people are going to sleep there. And again, like we have to get back into the government. And like I have a plan, right? My plan is legitimately is that we must start, you know what I mean, from the bottom again, right? We need to eliminate all the laws that say what you can and cannot do with your property. We need to eliminate all the fucking regulations. We need to eliminate all the fucking zoning bullshit. We need to eliminate everything, right? That goes into stopping you from starting a business, stopping you from, you know what I mean, standing here, being able to do whatever you want to do to be able to make money and survive, because you're going to need that freedom to be able to maneuver and be agile in a time when things are very, very hard. the last thing you're going to want is some asshole going, well, you need to make sure that your fucking grass is cut. Like, bro, I'm starving to death. Like, you're telling me I need to, like, fill up my fucking lawnmower? I can't afford bread, but I'm supposed to cut my grass. This is the fucking problem. Like, our shit is out of whack. And that needs to be fucking dealt with when it comes down to it. You know what I mean? We need to have that conversation all together. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, we need to have a lot of conversations. A lot of them. Just all together. But we need to stop letting these communists just spout off at the fucking mouth about nonsense. Legit. We need to have that talk about that right there just from the start, right? Because it's fucking garbage that these individuals come out of college spitting this fucking bullshit and then are just allowed to. Real talk. But anyway, look, this is getting to be like 25 minutes, so I'm going to cut this motherfucker short. Yo, look, I'm Tom Pease with Pnoid News. You know the deal. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell for more content. I'll be back later. Peace.